I'd like to take a moment to talk and share a very serious conversation with you that I'm honored that this man agreed to allow me to share, as all my clients agree. It's my hope that this situation will be a blessing to someone the way I believe it was a help to him. He's 39 years old. He's been married 12 years. He and his wife have a 3-year-old daughter. And he said, "Doc, I've been following you on social media for some time. And in doing so, I really felt led to reach out to you. Your videos resonate with me. I appreciate your honesty and candor. And I'm hoping you can give me the same." I said, "Of course. What's going on?" He said, "Well, I'm 39. And I got married 12 years ago to a woman that I've known over 20 years. We have a 3-year-old daughter." He said, "But I'm gay." He said, "I'm gay, and I was gay before I met her. I married her anyway. She's a sweetheart. She's a wonderful person and wife, and I don't know what to do. I don't want to hurt her." I said to him, I said, "Has she sensed any of this from you? Has she sensed that maybe you were gay?" He said, "I don't think so." He said, "I don't think she knows." I said, "Have other people sensed that you're gay?" He said, "Well, probably so." He said, "Because, we run in certain circles at the church, which is where I met her." He said, "So people know that I am. They haven't necessarily come out and said it to me, but, I don't necessarily run with direct circles in the church. But some of the circles I run with outside of the church are connected to people that are in the church. So people know people, if you get what I mean." I said, "Yes, sir, I do." I said, "So you don't think this has been visible to her, but perhaps to everybody else around her?" He said, rather, "Yes." I said, "Okay." I said, "That's common." And I said, "The reason that's common is because, someone that has grown up in the church, it is not uncommon. I've seen this a lot of times where women have married men that are gay, and a lot of times they didn't know. Sometimes they did know. And this is very taboo to say out loud and talk about out loud. I'll probably get killed in the comments or in DMs. But the fact of the matter is, you being gay is invisible to me because, number one, gay isn't a look, in my humble opinion. I'm not an expert on the subject, but gay is not a look. I have friends who are gay, and we have these conversations all the time. Gay isn't a look, and for some people it might be visible. They may be able to look at a person and maybe look at their mannerisms or certain things and be able to say, he's different, she's different. That might be possible. But for me, I said, "Sir, when you came on, I didn't sense that that's what you were going to talk about. And frankly, when you said that was the case, I was surprised, but you didn't see a reaction because I'm a professional." I said, "But listen to me. Why are you with her? Can you just answer to me why you're with her?" And he said, "Doc, honestly, I met her in church. I've known her for over 20 years, and I just can't tell her." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because I don't want to hurt her." I said, "Man, do you realize that love is a choice and it's not a feeling? So even this whole feeling that you have about not wanting to love her is really based in emotion. And it's not based in the logic you need to really handle this situation in a very responsible way." I said, "Love is a decision, man." I said, "The reality is you made a decision to marry her, but you didn't make a decision to honor her. And the longer you don't tell her, the longer you continue to dishonor her." I said, "Listen, it ain't about you wanting to hurt her, but understand this. Anything you have to hide is probably not a good idea. Anything. This isn't about your lifestyle." And I'll be very clear here. I said, "Listen, this conversation is not about your lifestyle. It's not about your preference. It's about your integrity. And the fact of the matter is, if you have to hide this from her, it's for a number of reasons. Number one, you're hiding it because you're not fully confident to come out and be who you are. Or number two, you're hiding it because you do not want to come to grips with what you're going to lose as a result of being true to who you are." I said, "The fact of the matter is you don't love her. You love the idea of her. You don't love the marriage. You don't respect the marriage. You respect the idea of marriage. And there are a lot of men especially who are putting their wives and girlfriends in harm's way when they know they prefer something else, but they are doing something else to save face with people who are going to talk about you regardless. I said to him, I said, man, I've grown up in church and been in church all my life. You need to hear this, that regardless of what you decide to do, don't think for 1 second people aren't already talking. I may not have been able to notice it, or your lifestyle may not have been visible to me, but trust me, there's somebody. If your circles are closely connected, he said he doesn't run with people in the church. He hangs with people outside the church, but those people outside the church know people at his church, which means you all are connected. It's a community. You're connected. Don't think for 1 second somebody isn't sitting back watching you work in church, sing in the choir, and do what you do. And it's like, bro, we all know what time it is. I said, so this idea of not wanting to come across to people or to try to keep something from people who are going to talk about you anyway and probably are already talking about you is ridiculous. You don't respect your marriage. You don't respect the marriage and the covenant you have with her. You just respected the idea of being with her. And he said, Doc, let me show you a picture of it. This is a true story. He said, let me show you a picture. And he goes to his phone and puts her on the screen. Gorgeous. Drop dead gorgeous. Beautiful woman. And I said, man, she's gorgeous. He said, man, I know. He said, I know. He said, I've been living this for 12 years with her. And it is something I can't come to grips to bring to her because it's going to devastate her. He said, I don't know what I need to do. He said, listen, man. I said to him, listen, this conversation is not, again, about your lifestyle or preference. This conversation is about your integrity. And the fact of the matter is, for 12 years, you had no integrity. For 12 years, you've had no respect for her. And for 12 years, you made a choice not to love her. And more than that, you've put her life in danger by continuing to put on a front of something that is not. I said, listen, if you're asking me what you need to do, you need to talk to her and tell her the truth. He paused for 30 seconds, and it may have felt like 3 minutes. It was an eternity. I was just looking at him. He had his head down, and he was just thinking. He finally lifted his head up and said, Doc, that's going to be so hard. I said, here's the reality. You might lose your wife, but you got a chance not to lose your soul. I said, you know that Bible you read, that good book you read? He said, yeah. I said, there's a verse in there that says, what will it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? You probably never thought about that in the context of your lifestyle. But the fact of the matter is, you get a chance to restore your integrity by being honest with her. Is she going to be upset? Absolutely. Is she going to be hurt? Absolutely. Devastated? Absolutely. Is she going to need some therapy and counseling? Absolutely. But you get a chance to restore your integrity by being honest with her and caring about her enough, because you don't love her. Let's be clear. But you have a chance to restore and show her how much you care about her by at least caring about her enough to be truthful with her. And even if you lose your wife, you got a chance to salvage your soul. And he thought about it and he said, Doc, I'm going to have the conversation. He said, I really need to process this. And he said, I know it's going to shake up a lot. I said, it is. I said, it's going to shake up a lot. I said, but man, I would rather you go to your grave knowing you were true to who you are and you did not jeopardize anybody else's life out of selfishness than to try to put up a front of an image that you really can't maintain. And I said, that's part of the problem, especially in the church, with people who have that lifestyle, but they put up a front trying to uphold an image that they really cannot maintain because that's not who they really are. And you're better off being true to who you are and being honest and operating in integrity than to walk around parading the idea of something that you're really not all about. I hope this video made sense. If it did, type church in the comments with 3 R's. And then remember, you've got 2 jobs. 1, be better today than what you were yesterday. And 2, don't forget what I told you. What's up, everybody? This is Dr. Zeb. Listen, I've been dying to make this announcement for a very long time now, and I'm pleased to say that Inspire Nation has officially launched. Yes, we finally got a Facebook and YouTube community group where we're going to have exclusive content, exclusive shorts, exclusive discussion prompts where we're going to engage with other people literally around the world who are on the same healing journey that we're on. I need you to go find these pages right now on Facebook and YouTube. Inspire Nation, follow the page, join the group, introduce yourself, and be prepared to link up with literally thousands of people around the world who are on the same healing journey, who are looking for the same resources, and who want to also be surrounded with other like-minded individuals who are growing in the same direction as you are. I'm so excited about this because it's the beginning of some great things I can't talk about right now. Listen, you got two jobs. One, be better today than what you were yesterday. And two, don't forget what I told you.